Obioma, standing outside the council hut, listened with mounting dread. He had anticipated judgment, but hearing it affirmed by the elders filled him with horror. He had struggled to safeguard his honor, but now his mere presence appeared to endanger the town. As the argument continued, a voice shattered the stillness from behind him. "We must seek the wisdom of the old priestess." Obioma turned to find Nwokedi, the village's oldest and most revered elder, standing with his stick. His presence commanded respect, and when he spoke, everybody fell quiet. The old priestess of the forgotten river knows the truth about the gods, Nwokedi said, her voice firm. She's the only one who can tell us what truly lies ahead for Obioma and the village. The elders exchanged looks. The ancient priestess was renowned for her strong connection to the gods, yet she lived deep in the forbidden area of the forest, a place dreaded by everybody. "Are we prepared to seek her?" Ugo asked hesitantly. "Her powers are great, but they come at a cost." "There's no other way," Nneka answered firmly. "If we do nothing, the curse will consume us." It was decided a delegation would be dispatched to the elderly priestess at daybreak, and at the core of this endeavor would be Obioma. The next morning, Obioma, escorted by Nwokedi, Ugo, and a few loyal soldiers, headed out for the prohibited portion of the forest. The voyage was risky. The farther they traveled, the more frightening the jungle appeared. The trees moved closer together, their gnarled branches shutting out the light, generating lengthy shadows that appeared to move of their own accord. The air was dense with the aroma of moist dirt and eerie camp. Finally, after hours of maneuvering the thick underbrush, they came to a clearing. In the middle was a modest antique cottage built of mud and thatch. Smoke curled from the chimney. An aura of mystery surrounded by the area. Nwokedi walked forward and knocked on the door. Moments later, the door cracked open, showing the old priestess, a frail-looking lady with keen eyes that seemed to cut into the soul. Her complexion was aged, and her hair, white as snow, flowed freely over her shoulders. "Come seeking answers?" she continued without preface, her voice like the rustling of dried leaves. "But the answers you seek will not come easily." Nwokedi bowed politely. "Great priestess, we seek your wisdom. The hamlet is in upheaval, and the gods have spoken. Obioma here is said to be cursed, and we need to discover whether that is true. The priestess stood aside, allowing them to enter a dimly lighted hut. Inside, the air was dense with the aroma of burning plants. Strange symbols were painted on the walls, and the floor was covered with animal skins. The elderly lady walked to the middle of the room, where a tiny fire blazed in a stone pit. She plucked a handful of herbs from a bag and flung them into the flames. The fire burned up, producing odd, flickering shadows on the walls. "Sit," she urged, her gaze fixated on Obioma. "You boy, we face the truth of your bloodline." Obioma, despite being afraid, sat down as directed. The priestess started to chant, her voice rising and falling like the wind. The flames flashed and grew brighter, and suddenly the room was filled with the sound of rushing water, the same sound that had tortured him throughout the flood. The priestess repeated the statement, "You are from a lineage cursed by the river gods." Obioma was surprised to hear this. "Your ancestors defile the sacred waters, and for that, the gods marked his descendants. The curse is genuine, Obioma, but there is more." Obioma's heart was hammered in his chest. "More?" The priestess nodded slowly. "The curse can only be broken through the sacrifice, but not the kind Chike spoke of. You are the key, Obioma, but the gods expect a sacrifice of confidence, not blood." "What does that mean?" Obioma asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The priestess peered deep into his eyes. "You must confront your betrayer, the one who appears to be your friend." Obioma's thoughts raced. Chike? Hadn't Chike already been exposed as the betrayer, or was there someone else? The priestess' eyes clouded. "Beware, Obioma. The greatest betrayal comes not from an opponent, but from one you trust most." With those strange remarks, the priestess slumped into quiet. The flames flared and faded out, leaving Obioma and the others startled, quiet. They ride back to the village after leaving the priestess' abode. Obioma's thoughts were filled with uncertainty and worry. Who was the genuine betrayer? Was Chike simply a pawn in a grander scheme? Or was someone else hiding in the shadows, ready to strike? As they approached the outskirts of the settlement, The sun started to set. The foreboding words of the priestess weighed hard on Obioma's heart. Who could he trust? And what price would he have to pay to break the curse? Just as they approached the town square, a piercing scream pierced the air. It came from Amaka's residence. Obioma looked so worried. His heart sank. Obioma's boots barely touched the earth as he rushed toward Amaka's home, his heart thumping in his chest. The scream of Amaka's voice still resonated in his memory, transforming his terror into panic. As he reached the complex, he noticed a throng had already formed, their faces furrowed with perplexity and anxiety. Shoving his way through, Obioma eventually reached the entryway to Amaka's residence. His breath caught as he saw her seated on the ground, her eyes wide with panic. She was shivering, grasping something in her shaky hands. "Amaka!" Obioma shouted, crouching alongside her. "What happened? Are you hurt? Are you hurt? Tell me, are you hurt?" Her eyes flicked to him, but she appeared unable to speak. Her face was pale, and she pointed to the thing she was clutching. It was a blood-stained cloth, a little torn piece that seemed disturbingly familiar. Obioma took the cloth, his mind racing. He had seen this material before. Slowly, his thoughts took him back to the night of the flood when the river spirit had spoken of betrayal. But now, as the priestess's words echoed in his mind, he realized the betrayal had been deeper than he first thought. Just then, the village chief came, escorted by other elders, including Nwokedi. The crowd parted as they approached. Chief Ugo's eyes were keen as he assessed the situation. "What has happened here?" he questioned. "Why was there a scream?" Amaka gulped hard, struggling to find her words. I, I, Her voice was shaking. "I was cleaning, and I found this," she mumbled, pointing toward a concealed compartment under the floorboards. It was buried beneath the house, but I swear I've never seen it before. The chief leaned down and studied the compartment, his face tensed as he found other items. A little knife crusted in dried blood and ragged parchment. He unfolded the paper carefully, his eyes tightening as he read the words scrawled on it. His voice was low, but the weight of his words impacted everyone in the trunk like a thunderclap. "This is a ritual scroll, a blood oaths. One of the chief there told Amaka that what she saw was nothing but just a note. It was an instrument of oath used 1,000 years ago. A collective gasp emerged from the people. Murmurs spread like wildfire, and all eyes went to Obioma and Amaka. Confusion and distrust swelled in the air, and Obioma could feel the frigid tendrils of doubt seeping into his head. Amaka, the chief continued earnestly, "Where did this come from? Do you know anything about it?" Amaka shook her head fiercely. "No, I swear on my life, I don't. I've never seen these things before." But Obioma could see the perplexity in her eyes. There was dread, but also something unsaid, something she wasn't giving them. He felt a deep aching in his breast. Could Amaka, his lover, be the one who had betrayed him all along? Was this what the priestess had told him about? The chief turned to Obioma. His stare sharp. "Do you know anything about this?" Obioma's lips felt dry as he attempted to speak. "No, I have no idea how this got here. But I swear I've been loyal to Amaka." Before he could speak more, Chike came into the crowd. His presence felt like a dagger in Obioma's back. His smile was gone, replaced with a sad countenance that made him seem almost righteous. Chike walked forward, his voice deceptively calm. "It seems, Obioma, that betrayal runs deeper than we thought. Perhaps the river spirit wasn't only warning me." Obioma felt the fire of Chike's words burn into him. "What are you saying, Chike? Are you accusing me or Amaka?" Chike shook his head slowly, his eyes glinting with something evil. "I'm not accusing anyone, but it seems that secrets buried deep have a way of rising to the surface." He peered pointedly at Amaka. Amaka, her face devoid of color, murmured something beneath her breath that only Obioma could hear. "Obioma, there's something I haven't told you, something from the past." The chief raised a hand, quieting the gatherings. "This matter cannot be resolved here, under the eyes of confusion and suspicion. Tomorrow, we will consult the gods and the ancestors in the village shrine. The truth will be revealed and justice will be done. You can all leave." Obioma remained still, his head racing. What could Amaka be hiding? At their love, the one thing he felt was pure, being founded on lies. As the crowd scattered, Obioma took Amaka aside, his voice shaking. Amaka, what are you hiding from me? If you know something about this blood oath, about the cause, please tell me. Tears welled in Amaka's eyes as she gazed up at him. Obioma, I didn't want to tell you because I thought I could protect you. Protect me from what? Obioma inquired. Amaka took a deep breath. Years ago, before we met, my family was involved in a terrible feud. My father made an oath with Chike's family. It was a blood oath, one that demanded loyalty and sacrifice. I thought it was over, that it had nothing to do with us. But I think that's why Chike has been tormenting us. I think he knows about the oath and now he is using it against us. Obioma's heart fell. Why didn't you tell me before? Because I didn't think it mattered anymore. She screamed. I didn't want to lose you over something that happened before we even knew each other. Obioma felt his world spinning. The trickery wasn't just about the cause of the bloodline, it was deeper, entrenched in the very fabric of their relationship. Could their love survive this? During the night, Obioma couldn't sleep. He was worried. The weight of the past, the curse, and the blood oaths pushed down on him like a heavy stone. Tomorrow, when they faced the village shrine and the gods, the truths would come out. But while he lay awake, looking at the ceiling, a persistent worry clawed at his mind. What if the genuine betrayer was still lying in plain sight? And as the first light of morning came into the hamlet, Obioma had this sickling sensation that the answers he sought may ruin all he had dearly.